I think in the beginning, nobody knew that they were a part of an iconic show. It developed into that, I think, season 1, season 2, and then it definitely caught with the younger audience, and it blossomed into something much bigger. For me, it was the first time I ever worked with a major studio, being Warner Brothers. I got to go onto the Warner Brothers lot, which was a dream come true. My first day, a lot of people don't know this, my first day on PLL was the day I turned 15. So I had my birthday on the back lot, and we were doing the reshoots for the pilot. Yeah. I think all of the developing storylines were a surprise to everyone. I don't think they ever really disclosed the information, and if they did, I don't believe it was true. I think they kept even the talent, the cast, guessing as well, because they didn't want any sort of spoilers, and they were developing the story as they went, so I don't think anybody knew. And also everybody every season was questioning, like, wait, are you A? Am I A? Is he A? Like, you got me thinking back. I mean, this is 10, 14 years ago, you know? I think the first reveal of A was like a big thing because it wasn't actually the identity. It was like the fail-safe. It was the pretend reveal of it. I think that got me pretty well, as long as like every other audience member too at the time. PLL? I do, actually. So this was, I think, one of my first weeks of filming. We were shooting inside the Montgomery house. Keep in mind, I'm 29 now, but I was 15 at the time. First time I was ever on like a professional, big set, and I was really nervous. I was shooting a scene where my mom, Holly Marie Combs, she was coming down the stairs, and I think we were leaving. I think my sister was taking me to lacrosse practice or something like that. And she could tell that I was nervous. So after we shot the master, it was like the big wide of the scene, Holly like self-initiated, and she kind of just took me by the hand, and then she walked me around the back lot, and while they were setting up the next shot, and she completely calmed me down. She made sure that I knew, hey, you're all good, you're safe. And I think that was the very beginning of our relationship, and it really felt like mother and son at the time. So it's a very heartwarming memory for me. I actually love this question. The perspective that Theo carried for himself, I don't ever believe he thought he was in the wrong. And I think that's something that I try to keep true and keep authentic from the very beginning to the very end. He was just trying to complete his mission. And in his mind, the means always justified the end. So I don't think he ever looked at himself as a villain or as evil. If anything, it was just probably a feeling of people not understanding his perspective. So I kind of kept that all the way through all of season 5, and even through the redemption arc, you know what I mean? His motives were never clear, but to him, they made sense, and to him, they were never really wrong, so. I have a lot. There's 2 that come to mind though. I think this was the finale of season 5, the first part of season 5. And it was when all this chaos was going on, and Theo's plan to successfully break up the pack and then isolate Scott at the library was in motion. I had a scene where it was me and Dylan O'Brien, and we were in this parking lot, and that was when Dylan's character, Styles, kind of found out the truth about Theo and called him out. And we had this intense scene where we were walking around each other in like a circle, and I was kind of antagonizing him and egging him on, and he throws a punch and I drop to the ground. And I remember I just started laughing and kind of threatening him of like, look, you can either come after me or you can go save your best friend, like you choose. And he's such a phenomenal actor, and the energy that was there in that scene. I remember too, we were filming it at probably like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But that's a standout for me. I had a blast doing that. I think a lot of trust. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but shortly after I got on the show, Dylan and I used to live at the same like apartment building. So we literally lived like 20 feet away from each other. So we got to the point where I would be seeing him every single day. We would work all day, then we'd come home and we'd hang out at night. So I think it just developed naturally. I think there was a real friendship there was a real bond, and there was trust and there was safety. So that allowed us to be vulnerable and expressive and like, you know, real solid dance partners when we went to work. So I think to answer your question, really just true friendship. For me, it was an authentic one. I think where we started with Asher in season 1, he was very immature. He was not able to process the consequences of certain actions, and we saw that time and time again. You know, he sabotaged himself, he sabotaged the team, he sabotaged his teammates, his friends. But what I enjoyed about it, it was a very human experience. He was forced to learn. You know, he had to suffer from his mistakes. He was forced to learn and to grow. So we look at Asher season 1, season 2, season 3, compared to 4, 5, and 6. You know, we saw an immature kid kind of transition into a mature young man who went from almost being forced to lose everything and then grow from it. And we saw a kid that was trying to pursue a career in football and then grew to a place where he learned that he cared more about his relationship and the child that he brought into the world. So to me, it was a very human experience from beginning to end. And I love that because it felt real. It felt like a real kid going through real life. So I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, to kind of piggyback, you know, I kind of, in a way, answered it already. It was the humanness of him. He was allowed to make mistakes. He was a flawed human being. But with that, you know, there was action and effort put into learning to grow and to change. Musician is a stretch, I would say that. I can play a little guitar, a little piano. I grew up really loving poetry a lot. I used to write a lot. And then I also, this is a fun fact most people don't know, for Christmas when I was like maybe 5, 6 years old, my parents got me a karaoke machine. And so I'm from the Midwest, Indiana, which is very close to Michigan, Detroit. So I used to grow up listening to Eminem, and I would like, you know, practice and rap along, all that kind of stuff. So for me, I gravitated towards, you know, just expression in rap music. And it became a personal release for me to kind of go through my own thoughts, to express certain emotions that maybe I didn't know how to. I kind of look at it as like painting, you know. And to also answer your question, yes, I've been continuously working on it. I have a studio at home. It's something that I don't think I'll ever part ways from. I got a little busy with like the film and TV stuff, so obviously priorities took in, but yes, more music on the way, absolutely. I think this idea that when I was younger, somebody told me a pretty profound thing, and it really stuck with me. He said, the day you stop growing is the day that you're no longer alive. And then, you know, from my own sort of philosophical views in life, I believe that every single day, honestly, every single moment, if you choose to engage in the present moment, is a new one. You can go up and down the same street where you live every single day, but it's a different street every day if you think about it. There's a sentiment or a quote that I really love, and it's, you can never step in the same river twice, because it's always in motion. It'll never be the same. So with that, I kind of adopted this thought process of like, let me try to always just be a little bit better than the day before. Because I feel like I need to, or I'm lacking, but to me, that's one of the exciting challenges of life. Like, we're here and you really don't know how much time you have, so find the things that you want to invest in. And it could be anything. It could be fitness, it could be art, it could be music, it could be anything. But I think that adds like a joyous experience to being human. It's like finding something that you're willing to invest more and more and more of. Fitness just kind of happened to be that for me, and also it doesn't hurt me being in good shape, especially in this industry. So